Welcome to another episode of the Unconditional Life. I'm Johnny.
I'm John.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Excited today, John, to talk about one of my favorite words, no.
I love this one.
The power of the word no. And I'm not kicking this off to say that no is negative or positive. Let's look at it neutrally here for a little bit. No, when used correctly, allows you to be a little bit more free with yourself, allows you to be yourself, and it allows you to be a little bit more honest. Too often, we get caught up in trying to please people.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
Too many times we get caught up in, I don't want to disappoint them, so let's just say yes. And so, if it didn't work for you, you could have just said no, or should have, because that's what the real answer inside you was supposed to be. But then you went and piled on all this other workload for you, because now you have to track the no, or track the yes you didn't want to give. You know what I mean, though? You have to track that the thing you wanted to say no to. You gotta keep track of it now, because I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say.
You know what, brother? That's you absolutely. It's so funny how when synchronicity works in a conversation, because I went to a group, and I'll pay homage to Gary Acevedo at Rise Leadership. He changed my life, and I'm going to talk about an exercise that he taught me, the power of using the word no. And the segue, you just teed it up perfect. Every time you say no, or every time you say yes to something, you say no to something else. Most of us are not taught to take a quick inventory of what the heck is going on in our lives before we say yes. And we often do not realize that real freedom comes from the ability to say no to people. And you'll go into the other side of no a little bit later. But I joined Rise Leadership, and one of the first exercises that we did, Gary taught us that the power of no, and how often do we want to be liked, right? And even, I'm going to go a little deeper with that. I've had enough time in my life to be very brutally honest with myself. It's not really that don't take this wrong, I don't really want you to like me. I just want to think that you like me. So we put on all these masks and we play all these games to make people, so we have this perception that everybody likes us, that we think they do. When most of you probably think I'm a crazy person and a whack job anyway. But I don't care. It's none of my business. But what I learned in Rise is how often you get a phone call from mom, and mom says, hey, I need you to help me with this thing on Friday night. And you already have plans with your wife, you're going golfing, it doesn't matter what it is. Instead of just saying, hey, mom, no, that doesn't work for me, because of all kinds of social conditioning and whatever other BS we won't even get into. That's topics for another day. We say, it's going to be tight, Mom, but I'll be there. And you either are going to screw up your date or your golf trip, or you're not going to show up for your mom. You just broke your word, because you literally can't. It's impossible to be in two places at one time. So when we started this, we had to do 30 days where we had to say no to everything, even if it was something that you wanted to do, no matter what. My little brother thought I was crazy. He called me to go fishing one day, and I said, bro, I got to tell you no. I'll check my calendar. I'll see if it's true. I'll get back to you in a few minutes. And I hung up the phone on him, and I checked in. I'm like, hey, you know what? It's true. Called him back, said, sure enough, we're going to go fishing. Well, when we went fishing, I got to teach him about this. And it literally set me free, because I started to be deliberate and intentional, and it taught me about the power of creating boundaries.
So it's like saying no at first, so that you can go back and check and make sure
so
it doesn't
I can really
work,
check. Yeah, is it true for me? Do I want to
that
go?
Makes sense.
And not... Listen, boys and girls, I'd pose to you that you're not bad because you say no to someone. As a matter of fact, I think no is the most liberating word you'll ever learn how to say. And the other side of no, will you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, absolutely. There's the ability to know when to say no, but also if you're somebody who's looking for that answer, you got to be okay with no. The other side of no is being able to receive a no. It's not for you to decide for that other person whether it works for them or not. You may think you know if it works for that person and get personal with it and say, oh, no, I know you could have said yes to me, but you're just being mean.
Or whatever.
You need to get over yourself a little bit. You need to be able to accept somebody's no, let them keep their own counsel as to why the no is there, and be like, you know what? That's okay. We can plan it for another time. Or, that's okay. I'll ask somebody else. Thank you. But there's this unseen energy that's built up if you say yes to something you didn't want to, or if you say no and I take offense to that.
Yes.
There's this weight of energy you're carrying around that you need to get rid of.
Amen.
You need to just be okay with it. John, if it doesn't work for you, guess what? That's none of my business.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's none of my business why you told me no.
Absolutely, unequivocally. And it's not personal.
No matter how personal your relationship is. It doesn't matter if it's your wife, it's your kid, it's your father. It doesn't matter who it is.
Absolutely.
It's still none of your business.
Yep.
You may think you have a right to that other person's, the other side of their brain to know why. And sometimes you'll get the reason, and most people will give you the reason anyway, just because that's the nature of people. But you got to stop being offended when people tell you no. That frees you from those feelings too.
Well, and it reminds me actually, and we've all been to this place, I promise you. We've all been at a family function or somebody's kid wants a freaking cookie or a piece of cake or a donut or a hot dog or whatever it is, and every grown-up in the room tells them no. And they do not take it personal. They don't think that Uncle Johnny hates them.
They just go to the next grown-up.
They just go to Uncle Brad. They go to Grandma. They go to Grandpa. And unequivocally, eventually,
they'll get their
someone
cookie.
will cave and the kid will get the donut.
I know from personal experience.
Yeah,
you will get the donut.
And it's not personal. And actually, really, I'm at a place in my life, and I turn 58 soon, and I don't have time to be places that I authentically don't belong and don't want to be, where I'm not comfortable, where I'm not adding value, where it's not true for me. And it doesn't make me a bad boy to not automatically drop something because a family member needs me in this moment when I have my life. Now that doesn't mean we're not advocating you just run around saying, hey, screw everybody. No to everything. But honestly, contemplate how many times in your life you just acquiesce. And we've been taught that good boys and good girls do this and do that and do. That's one of the conditions that this whole thing is about.
Yeah.
To heck with all those conditions.
Well,
what do you want from your life?
Yep.
What is true for you? And now my brother, when we talk, he knows I'm choosing into time with him on purpose. That I have deliberately, intentionally set my life up where I invest my social currency, my time.
And what you just said actually leads to the point I was going to make, is that a lot of times it's not that we want to say no to somebody or we want to say yes to somebody. It's not really about that. It's most of the yeses we give are quick. Somebody asks you, and you know what, in the moment, because if I ask you a question real quick, I want an answer from you most of the time. And how many times do we give ourselves the space to take the time to answer that question? We don't. We just get fast in the mouth, and we're like, you know what, yeah, that sounds like something I could do, without checking. And so you end up either letting somebody down because you forgot to check, or you didn't realize this other thing was going on. Saying no doesn't mean never. Saying no doesn't mean this is a no. It just means stop saying yes so much without thought.
Yes.
That's all. This conversation is just about putting thought into the decisions you make.
Being intentional.
Being intentional.
Yes.
If I want to spend time with you and say yes, guess what? After you ask me, hey, you want to go hang out or go camping or something this weekend? Instead of, you know what, that sounds fun, John. Let's do that. No. All we're saying is do this. That does sound like a lot of fun, John. Let me think about it. I don't want to say yes to you because I don't know what else I got going on in my life.
And sometimes you don't even have to say that. Sometimes you could just say, hey, give me a minute.
Yeah, let me process that. Let me see if I got anything going on.
Here's one good thing I'll say. Are you on a timeline? And here's something else along this. One thing I learned in this, and man, if you want to really change your life, try a 30-day no fast and like a yes fast. And don't say yes to anything. Just say no to everything for 1 month, for a second, and even tell people, I know this is crazy, brother, but I got to say no because I'm practicing something for 30 days. And I'll call you right back. I just got to check in. It will totally set you free. But in the middle of that, we're still going to say, Brother Brad, I'll be there at 5. We're going to hang up the phone. We're going to drive down the road. We're going to go, oh, snap. I can't be in 2 places. Guess what you can do? Immediately renegotiate a contract. Like, just because you said yes, you're going to be in 2 places, doesn't mean you have to not be in one. Immediately. Oh my gosh. And it doesn't matter which one it doesn't matter. Immediately renegotiate the contract you think that's easiest to renegotiate. Oh my gosh, Brother Brad, I can't be there at 5. Will 6 work? It's so much easier. And it takes us right back to being our word.
Yeah.
Then we don't have all this crap hanging out there that we haven't fulfilled.
It gives you the room to check in and make sure you answer as yourself.
Yes, truthfully from
Instead
you.
of, hey, yep.
I got it, bro. I love you. I got your back. Yes.
Yeah, it allows you to check in and take an inventory of yourself in regards to the question you were just asked. So and I know it's a simple topic, but let's just get better at checking in before we throw out answers. Learn that no has some power, and being able to receive a no without taking it personal or getting offended. That's powerful. You don't need to carry around that offensive energy. It's just not necessary. So just allow somebody the room to say no to you, and allow yourself the room to say no to somebody else.
And just practice it. Again, this is everybody, all we're talking about is the conditions that we automatically accept that we don't have to. Many of the rules of life are just some made up traditions that we really don't, that we think we agreed to, that we really didn't.
That we genetically agreed to through our heritage.
We just automatically
inherited it.
So learn how to say no effectively, honestly. And just like with everything, there's a way to be kind and honest and sincere and say, hey, that doesn't work for me. I promise you, if you'll take me up on my offer, you do a 30-day yes fast, it will change your life. It will empower you. It will help you find time you never had. And it will actually solidify and strengthen relationships, because people will get used to you telling the truth instead of just saying, brother, I'll be there.
Well, you'll get used to it too.
Yeah, it will become familiar.
We love you guys. Yeah. Thank you so much
for
joining
us. Have a beautiful night.